Hello, I am the Wolf, and we're gonna be talking James Bond.
Not to worry.
What?
I'll tuck him back in.
Let's settle this.
Talk about a rude awakening.
Specifically, we're gonna be talking about 007 First Light, but this will be a spoiler-free review. Just gonna talk about some things that I liked and some things that I didn't like. Now, if you've seen me review things like food items before, or you've never seen me before, then let me clue you in. So I use a 10 scale, and my hard rule is if I like something, I don't give it less than a 5. And for me, 007 First Light comfortably sits at a 9 out of 10. I almost want to give it a 9.5, but most comfortable for me is 9 out of 10. So one of the things I want to start with from the jump is First Light by Lana Del Rey. It's an absolutely amazing James Bond song. It is now my second favorite Bond theme that has ever been made. The first one being GoldenEye, but Lana Del Rey's is fantastic. I hope she is nominated and then wins a Grammy for Best Original Song. It is that good. I listened to it on repeat until launch day. I have it on my Spotify. It is a fantastic piece of music. Next, what I want to move on to is story. The story was great. Pretty good Bond story. It's only 20 hours, which does not negatively impact the game enough to where I didn't rate it higher. 20 hours is fine. There were a couple small things that I thought if they added 5 or 10 hours, it would be that much better. But it does not really detract from the enjoyment of the game. But yeah, no, it was a good story. Now, gameplay was super fun. Lots of stealth, lots of combat. You can really kind of go however you want. The gadget selection did seem a little small, but really when you get down to it, you don't even really notice. You select your gadgets before the start of your mission, and then you're good to go, and like whatever you have is gonna be useful no matter what. There's not, oh man, I always gotta have X gadget because it's going to be the best for whatever. No, they're all good, and even if you don't have one gadget, like a specific gadget, another one can still do the same job just as good. So that felt good. Trying to use the gadgets in combat, I struggled with, but that's just because it's me. That's totally user thing. I'm just trying to get used to it. If you're like a much better gamer than I am, you'll have no problem integrating the hand-to-hand, the pistol, and your gadgets. Like it'll be super easy for you. I did enjoy it. I liked all the gadgets. I had my favorites. So like when I unlocked them, I kept those all the time. Those are the ones that I used for every mission. Speaking of combat, the hand-to-hand combat is simple but effective. I mean, it is just beyond awesome. The punches felt weighty. Counters had to be precise. It was a little forgiving, but still you had to be pretty good at your counters, blocking. I love being able to throw people into the environment and then throw things from the environment. So for example, there's like one mission where part of the design is there's a pool table, and like if you get into a open fight where everybody knows what's going on, you can grab a pool cue, or even before, if you want everybody to know that there's a fight going down, you want to throw stealth out the window, you just throw pool cues at people, or you throw coffee mugs or beer bottles or keyboards, hell, your own gun once it runs out of ammo, which is, by the way, a super fun mechanic. And then, like I said, it's simple. It's, only one button for attacks, but it is so effective. I never playing the whole 20-hour story, which, yeah, I don't think I said, but I beat the game. But it never feels repetitive and like, okay, I'm going to do the same 5 moves or whatever, which that may be true. I'm sure there's more than 5 moves, but that may be true, but you never notice it. You're just so engaged in the gameplay. Like I said, simple but effective. Next is the gun combat. Oh, the gun combat is so good. It feels amazing. There's just so much going on. Disarming people, shooting the guns out of their hands to disarm them, which I guess is the same thing. Shooting like bad guys in the legs to like stun them for a second so that you can regroup or take them out or whatever. And there was one thing I was a little concerned about because other games do it, but this one does not. So it has medium and heavy armored opponents, and I say medium because they have like armor on their head and arms, but their legs are still vulnerable, so you can, you know, like shoot them in the leg. And then you have the heavy armored ones that are armored from head to toe. And one thing that a lot of games fall into is like, okay, they're heavy armored, so no weapons work against them, and you have to like shoot them in the back or stun them this way or whatever. And that's not the case. You can get through like the heavy armor with just your service pistol, but it's gonna eat a lot of ammo. So the easiest thing to do is to find a bigger weapon to use, a shotgun or some kind of rifle. That just makes it a whole lot easier. Or even that doesn't work, you just run up and you throw hands. You can disarm them, take their weapon, because most of the time the medium and heavy armor opponents are going to have stronger weapons that then get through their armor. So it's never like, oh my god, I got to focus on this guy now and they're going to use all my resources. No, it's pretty, not simple, but it's a small challenge, not overwhelming and throwing off the entire balance. So yeah, the gunplay, the hand-to-hand combat, switching between the two. Here's a little clip.
They hit me!
Story, the song, it's all fantastic. And now let's talk about Patrick Gibson as 007. I thought he made a perfect 007. As a young, arrogant James Bond, it was fantastic. Now, I'm gonna say something, but I hope it doesn't come out the wrong way. What I'm gonna say is completely a compliment. I just don't want it to come out the wrong way. Is I could hear a little bit of Sean Connery in his voice. I don't know if that was on purpose or just because they have similar accents, which I really hope you don't take it that the wrong way. In the best possible way, I could hear a little bit of Sean Connery in his voice, and I think his voice acting was phenomenal. Patrick Gibson did a fantastic job as James Bond. For the things that I don't like, and there's really only 2 of them, and they're not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of taken away from the game. I think I kind of touched on this earlier, but the game is only 20 hours. So there are certain parts of the story that I feel suffer just a little bit from that. They could have easily added 5 or 10 hours to make it like a 25 or 30 hour game and let us spend a little more time developing certain things. I, again, try not to spoil anything here. Developing certain things and then coming back to certain things. I'm like, why is that? Like, why are we just completely ignoring this aspect? It just seems like, okay, we've got rid of that and now kind of don't think about it, keep going forward, which it doesn't hurt my review of it. It doesn't hurt my enjoyment. I'm just like, I think you could have kept going and it would have been fine. Now, the last thing I didn't like was a mechanic that's known as license to kill. And so what that is during combat, James Bond cannot take out his pistol until the enemy does. So if none of the enemies have intent to pull out pistols and shoot Bond, he cannot pull out his pistol and shoot them. I was kind of on the fence about that mechanic because there are plenty of opportunities where you get your license to kill, but I felt like you should have been able to do it more. You know, like if you're in a fight, because there are a couple times where you can get overwhelmed in a fight if you can't escape. It's like, well, it'd be easier if I could just pull out the blicky and take them all out, but you can't. So I don't know. To me, I don't like that mechanic. I think it's a cool mechanic. It's fun. I haven't seen that before. But you know, part of the slogan was like, spy your way, be James Bond the way you want to be. Well, if I want to be the James Bond that's not seen by anybody because there's nobody to be noticed, I would like to be able to do that. But, you know, again, that's just me. So that is my review of 007 First Light. I highly enjoyed the game. It is actually the only game that I've ever pre-ordered. And I'm so glad I did. I got that Tuesday, a day early, and it was so much fun. And it took me about 3 days. Yeah, about 3 days. I got it Tuesday, and I beat it on Thursday. And it's just been so incredible, so much fun. Highly, highly recommend picking up 007 First Light. Fantastic James Bond game. But with all of that said, I'm the Wolf, and I look forward to howling with you again next time.